Racing here in the village of Lena.
Well, they are lining them up and getting ready to go here. Our Pro Stock side-by-sides, 24 racers, and leading them into the gully one time. They're going to come out of here and get going. All right, Lena, you guys ready? Let's have some fun here. Our Pro Stock side-by-sides. Anyone could be in this one.
A lot of heavy hitters.
Van Eperen, CJ Greaves, Zakowski, Jeremy Hoole's done well, Scott Waz. There's so many guys in this one.
Loire's riding a hot streak coming in here.
Coming off of the win, absolutely. So here we go. Pro Stock side-by-side coming around that corner real slowly. It's 97 of Letourneau. And
very slow coming to the cone.
Yeah, they are.
And here we go, green flag, and look at the jump. Letourneau immediately out front by 5 car lengths. Van Eperen's going to pull alongside Holcher as they go into turn 1. Van Eperen set up on the inside, trying to hold the dry line down low. Holcher with a great run on the outside as they enter the split lane.
Wow, what a start from Letourneau, man. He just took off. The 97, there he is on your screen, coming around the right-hander. There's Van Eperen in third. Is that CJ sneaking in there as well?
Yeah, CJ started on the second row as well, so he's going to pull alongside the Yamaha Van Eperen for the moment. Hey, how about that? Van Eperen showing, giving no corner at all to CJ Greaves there, showing him a wheel and saying, hey, man, this is my spot.
CJ trying to dive inside there as he's in fourth. But up front, Letourneau, Holcher, Van Eperen, and Greaves, pretty much the way they started. But that start, I can't get over that start from Letourneau. That was excellent.
Yeah, it's almost like he gave himself a head start on the whole field. One lap in the books. It's Letourneau, Holcher, Van Eperen, Greaves, Zakowski, Luber.
Greaves diving in, going to try to go inside here. Let's see if he can hold it. Oh, Van Eperen going to try to shut the door, but he goes outside.
Man, Van Eperen really keeping a cool head right now. CJ's trying to force him to make a mistake, and to his credit, Van Eperen for being one of the youngest guys in the field. Calm, cool, and collected as they're side-by-side again coming through the infield.
Zakowski, I see moving up into about 5th there. Luberg and Wood there. Loire in about 8th. So we got to keep an eye on him, the winner from ERX a couple weeks ago. All right, Holcher closing in now on your leader, Letourneau. Look at this.
Yeah, Holcher, another one of the HBI contingent here this weekend from just up the road in Abrams. We'll also see him later in Pro Lite. Showed a wheel to the inside. Looks like it might have stalled it.
He made a mistake. He did stall it. Good point. He ran into the back of Letourneau.
Oh, no.
Oh, big trouble there for Holcher.
So now the battle setting up front is Letourneau and the Arctic Cat up front, followed by the Yamahas of Greaves, Van Eperen, Zakowski, and then the Polaris of Luberg rounds out the top 5.
Letourneau benefited from that one. Look at that lead. He is pulling out on CJ Greaves, who's now in second and actually slightly pulling away from Rodney Van Eperen. Then you got Zakowski, Luberg, Loire up to 6, so he took advantage as well. There he is there on your screen. But Letourneau is, I don't know if he's pulling away yet because CJ is on it right now. CJ's on the gas.
And of course, CJ has that red number plate, so he knows how to win and win a championship here in this class. As we take a look at Owen Van Eperen running in 3rd.
No, that's Rodney, I believe. Oh, it is Owen. I apologize. I thought that was Rodney. So Owen Van Eperen, I don't even know why I said Rodney, but Owen learning the lines from his family and friends, man. He is ripping it up, the number 5. I apologize on that one. So Letourneau, Greaves, Van Eperen, and Zakowski.
Oh, Letourneau got up on the bike. He was on the bike for about 1.5 seconds, it felt like. That's going to give a little opportunity here for Greaves. Greaves dives to the inside. They're going to go side by side as they go down the backstretch. Greaves and Letourneau. Yamaha versus Arctic Cat. Greaves has the inside.
And the next corner as well.
And CJ Greaves will take over the race lead here at Pro Stock side-by-side.
Yeah, CJ's on it. You can tell he's just got the hot lines here and carrying his speed through the corners. Inside there, kind of banks out through the middle. CJ Greaves taking another lap, or his first lap in the lead, lap number 4. And CJ Greaves, Letourneau, and Owen Van Eperen right there in that 3rd spot. And Owen's sneaking in a little on Letourneau now.
Yeah, Van Eperen's going to work on Letourneau. They're almost side by side as they were in the split lane. Letourneau will take back the spot into that hard right-hand corner.
Oh, he's setting himself up here, Shane.
Yeah, he pulled off tried to pull off that two-corner pass that we've seen some guys in earlier classes pull off. Letourneau doing a great job of playing defense there.
So Owen Van Eperen trying to make a move on Letourneau. We got Zakowski in there. Loire still is 6th. But look at this battle. Letourneau, your early leader, and Owen Van Eperen trying to find a way around Letourneau on 2.
Yeah, Letourneau up on the bicycle again. Maybe a little bit too much side bite on this dry track. Maybe something to keep an eye on. Maybe Van Eperen can try to force Letourneau to make a mistake here.
I was just going to say, I think the pressure might be already coming out. Owen Van Eperen's on it. Here is our caution coming out. Competition caution. So it is CJ Greaves, Letourneau, and Owen Van Eperen. I want to apologize. I said Rodney early on, but Owen definitely putting on a show there in 3rd place. Luberg, Zakowski, and Loire, your top 6 as they come across. Well, starting out strong. This is awesome. Let's go down to Haley in the pits. She has an update, guys.
Thanks, guys. Man, what a tough break for Johnny Holter. I was catching up with him earlier in the pits. He's not only new to racing the Pro Stock 5x5 class, but Pro Lite. So I asked him, I said, Johnny, are you full-time in one season? How crazy is that? And he said, no, not really. He's taking more of a comfortability here in the side-by-side, considering he's coming up through the sportsman side-by-side ranks. He said, yeah, he's taking a little bit more of a liking to the side-by-side, but ultimately, he's here to learn. He's making big gains in this class as well as the Lite. He's a guy who has his sights set on making a career in off-road racing. So we're looking to see how he can rally back here. Of course, what you saw, unfortunately, had stalled it in a corner, but just a guy who's looking to learn and shake some gremlins from the opening rounds at ERX.
All right, thank you very much for that, Haley. I should point out, Dave, John Holter still is on the lead lap. I mean, obviously, he's got a ton of work to do in such a full field, but the chance is still there. He's on the lead lap, and he has a chance to work his way up and at least improve his current standing for sure.
Try to get back in it. There he is right there on your screen, the 44. Basically last place, so too bad because he was in it there. So our competition yellow is out. We're kind of re-racking them. How about Owen Van Eperen? He's the one that's grabbing my attention right now.
Yeah, this is a really strong showing for the O show, Owen Van Eperen. Taking a look at the running order there, I want to say that Loire is actually sitting in 4th in line right now, and he is. So Robert Loire is 4th on this restart. Check that. That's Luber.
Yeah, I thought so, but here we go. Anyways, green flag. No worries. Green flag. CJ gets a good start, and Letourneau 2nd. Let's see if Owen can do anything. Owen is right there, and then you got Luberg in that 4th spot.
Yeah.
Who is that 5th around the outside?
That's Zakowski. Luberg had his back bumper just full of Zakowski through turn number 1.
There's Loire.
Yeah, Loire making his run alongside Zakowski now as they enter the right-hander. Still Greaves, Letourneau, Van Eperen, Luberg, your top 4, but from there on back, man, that's a lot of dicing going on.
Yeah, Zakowski and Loire right there. So here is CJ Greaves, then Letourneau, and Owen Van Eperen, your top 3. Going into the sweeper there, and down into the gully.
See if Letourneau can keep all 4 tires down this time.
There he goes, grabs the inside.
Yeah, the aggression hasn't quite paid off for him with the issues with going up on the bike a couple times. Another lap in the books. It's all CJ Greaves right now. Van Eperen's still close enough that, you know, if Letourneau makes a mistake, he can definitely capitalize.
CJ grabbed a little bit right there, just pulled a little bit away. 1.1 over Letourneau, 1.7 over Owen Van Eperen. So Owen trying a different route here on the outside. Oh, on 2. Owen's got to dive inside.
And Letourneau again up on the bike. So now Van Eperen, though, he's caught on the outside of this left-hand turn.
He got a good drive out of that corner.
And we're going to go side by side again down the backstretch. It's Letourneau on the inside, Van Eperen on the outside.
Oh,
still side by side.
And Letourneau grabbed some more tire there. Got it on 2 real quick. But Owen Van Eperen into 2nd. Shane, this is impressive. Oh,
and again, Letourneau, that's going to open the door for Luberg. It looks like Luberg may have stolen 3rd from Letourneau.
Good call.
They're side by side as they come over the finish line jump.
And Zakowski trying to sneak in there as well. And Loire kind of sitting back a few spots as well.
We have a local yellow down there for a car that had stopped and was being pulled off, but everyone's free and clear of that. We're going to go back to green flag racing with no full course caution.
And CJ sitting pretty. Oh, there's
Letourneau, that time way conservative as they entered that right-hand turn, and Luberg piled right into the back of him.
Yeah, they're closing in on him, and he's starting to feel it now. So out front, CJ Greaves, there he is here on our screen with the drone shot. Look at him go here at Dirt City Motorplex. He's probably put in more laps than anyone here, I would imagine. I've seen some Instagram videos here practicing whenever he can. So Owen Van Eperen, I'm sure he's been here once or twice. And Letourneau, is he going to hang on to third as they come across? No. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Letourneau still for now in third. Battle for fourth heating up too, as Zakowski is putting a lot of pressure on Luberg down into turn one. There you see that battle for fourth. Both drivers going to the left-hand split lane. They were side by side in one lane of the split lane for a moment.
There's Letourneau here on your screen, man. Look at the pressure he's got behind him. There's Loire throwing her sideways. And the 54, Jeremy Houle trying to get in the mix.
Yeah, Houle started dead last, so that's an incredible, tremendous run by Houle to be up that close to the front.
All right, so Greaves, Van Eperen, and Letourneau there in third. As they come to us, Shane, I think the white flag is coming out. This is a good battle here for third. Letourneau, Luberg, Zakowski in there. Out front, CJ Greaves and Van Eperen. All right, Shane, final lap here, pro stock side-by-side.
This battle for third, fourth, and fifth is a long way from over. Luberg trying to get a run on Letourneau. Doesn't look like he's quite within striking distance there as they go through the right-hander there, turn number 2. Luberg's got to shoot his shot here pretty soon. He's running out of time to get around Letourneau for that final podium spot.
Yeah, they're going at it. Here is CJ Greaves. He has actually pulled away from Owen Van Eperen. And CJ gonna bring it home. It looks like the pro stock side-by-side. First ever national win here at Dirt City Motorplex. Shane, it is CJ Greaves taking the win. And Owen Van Eperen, look at you, pulling off second place. That battle for third.
Yeah, at the line, it was still Letourneau. So through all the trials and tribulations, Letourneau holds on for third. Luberg fourth. Zach Zakowski rounds out the top 5. Houle all the way up to 6th after starting dead last in the 24th spot.
And at the finish, Holcher ended up 13th after being up there early. Zakowski was 4th. Houle 5th, like you said. Wood 6th. Wood 7th, and Otterson 8th. So an excellent pro stock side-by-side final. That was cool.
I tell you what, man, if that's our jumping off point for the rest of these pro races, we're going to have a really, really great time over these next 4.
And there's your official result, CJ.
That they did. CJ Greaves, you're of course the winner here. You show up to a track where this is our first ever national off-road event. How good does that feel?
You know, it's awesome. We're fortunate enough to live close here and get to put on some of our own events here. And I just got to thank all the guys from Lena. It's a volunteers group. As you guys see, the community's behind it. All these fans came out here. It's hotter than balls out here, and they're still here watching. So we can't thank them guys. It's just awesome. I'm glad to get back out front, run some laps out in clean air in this pro stock. We struggled a little bit at ERX, but we put our heads down, worked on that car for this last week and a half to get out here today. So it was an awesome race. Jack and Owen, they were giving me everything we could in the beginning. I'm like, here we go. It's going to be a battle for sure. And Jack got on the bike a little bit right there, and we drag raced into the next left-hander. And I'm like, all right, he's going to try to protect. We'll set him up here, and we drag raced into the next turn again. So it was awesome running clean. I don't know if anyone hardly touched anybody the whole race, and just the way we love to do it. So I can't thank all my crew. They worked their butts off out here underneath all them tents. There's no AC or nothing, so them guys deserve a huge round of applause. Monster Energy, Yamaha, Yamaluke, GYTR, Maxxis Tires, Fox Shocks, Impact Safety. Anyone I forgot, thanks, and hopefully I'll be back up here soon.
Congratulations, CJ Greaves, on the win here in Pro Stock side-by-side. On to the next one for him. Now, Owen Van Eperen, I want to know about that pass for second you made in the Rival Motorsports section. What clicked there? What did you tell yourself when you knew it was go time?
Yeah, I just saw Jack it up on the bike, and he went outside, so I caught inside, and we jig raced the next corner, and I went around the outside of him, and I guess my Yamaha just outpowered him, and I don't know, it's just a fun race, and excited to get my first podium in Pro Stock, and can't wait till tomorrow.
You had the speed, that is for sure. Who is helping you get up here?
Yeah, mainly my whole family. But my dad, my mom, my grandma and grandpa, my brother, my crew, Yamaha Yamalu, Power Sports 1, GYTR, UTVWheelKit.com, Balin Buildings, Sedona Tires, Beyond Redline, everyone else, thank you.
Owen Van Eperen, your second place finisher. And Jack Letourneau, rounding out our podium here. You know, you heard these other two guys talking about it, you being up on the bike. How were you able to not only fight through that, maintain control, but hang on to this podium position?
Well, I was up on the bike a few times, but I mean, starting out front, it definitely helped me during the first half of this race. And, you know, I couldn't ask for any more clean air than I got, but just putting up on the bike, it's kind of where all my problems evolved. And, you know, I just tried to hold her through. It was fight for third. I'm pretty sure I heard the guy behind me, but it was definitely a fun race. Track held up great. You know, it was honestly a lot of fun, especially to be up here on the podium.
Now, in your opinion, I'm curious, is it harder to start on the pole and fight to maintain that position, or to have to work your way up?
You know, honestly, I'd have to say, yeah, it is harder to start on the pole because it's almost like you got to play a little defense. You want to hold your spot but maintain it. You don't want to be out there blocking people, but it's just you got to maintain your spot and try and just hold it first. But as you can see, it doesn't always happen that way, but it's definitely a fun day.
Well, a solid run you put together. Who else would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank all my family, all the crew at Speedworks, Articat, Octane Inc., Letourneau Electric, Trail Motorsports, Raceline Wheels, Rugged Radios, Wildcat Riders, Hoosier Tires, especially with these new tires. I don't know if many people have seen them, but they work awesome. And ACX Lubricants.
Congratulations, Jack Letourneau, taking home the bronze medal here in your Pro Stock side-by-side, guys.
Get ready here for our Pro Mod side-by-side Amsoil final. And Rodney Van Eperen up there, Kyle Cheney, CJ Greaves.
Here we go. Green flag.
CJ's got an issue.
Trouble for CJ right from the start here as he has to pull over off the race line.
He's dropping back big time. Up
Rod
front,
Van
Cheney
Eperen got a great start, as did Kyle Cheney. And how about this? Andrew Carlson in the mix as well, as he's running in third.
All right, so it's Rodney Van Eperen, Kyle Cheney, and Carlson in the 15. We just saw the hot lap GoPro from him a moment ago.
Setting up the manufacturer battle as well, as you've got Yamaha, Can-Am, Polaris running 1, 2, and 3.
So Van Epper coming back at us for lap number 1 with Kyle Cheney in second. These two pulling away already.
Yeah, Cheney is your defending class champion, so certainly, well, so was Van Epper from a couple of years ago.
Sure.
So both of these guys know what it takes
Cheney
to
to
run
the
up front
inside.
consistently. Look at the attempt there by Cheney.
He tried to squeeze in and then take that outside line, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
so Rodney pulled away there.
Cheney just ran out of room as Van Epper was moving over a little bit. Now we'll watch Cheney go back to work as we take a look at Carlson, who's also in the mix there in third. The top three have sort of gapped out over the rest of the field here.
Luberg in fourth there.
Tell you what, Cheney is pulling right back up to the back bumper of Van Epper already.
So it's Van Epper, Cheney, and Carlson. Luberg in fourth, Waszak in the fifth spot. For lap number 2, who's this?
Taking a look at Dustin Robbins, who has pulled into the hot pit. It looks like his day may be done. He's got the shield up. It looks like he's dumping some water in the car there. Meanwhile, back out front, Van Epper about 2.5 car lengths over Cheney. Look
Here
at
comes
Cheney.
inside. Nice move, sliding it in there.
Look at that move by Cheney. Backed it into that right-hand corner, and he's going to pull ahead of Van Eperen. Van Eperen's going to try to give it right back, though. Cheney slams the door, so great move there by Cheney.
Yeah, that was slick, right into the lead. Kyle Cheney, 91 out of Millersburg, Ohio, pulling into the lead here.
Drove into the corner backwards. That's a play out of the Kyle LeDuc playbook that we'll see later, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, with that little bit of water they put down, that's, kind of setting you up for those turns there. So
look at the lead already that Cheney has opened up as now Carlson beginning to reel in Van Eperen.
Luberg in fourth still, and Waszak in the fifth spot. So not much changing up front except for Carlson trying to close in on Rodney Van Eperen.
Carlson tried to dive to the inside a little bit there. Wasn't quite close enough to make any kind of move on Van Eperen.
And Cheney just pulling away from both of them right now.
And there's a good shot of that XPS Can-Am of Kyle Cheney as he comes through the left-hand sweeper. Up and over the rise, down into turn 5.
There's CJ.
Yeah, taking a look at
saw
CJ.
him early in that lap number 1. Something happened, and he's never been the same. Never been involved in this race ever since then. So we got to get info on that. Here's Kyle Cheney leading this one. Rodney Van Eperen and Andrew Carlson, your top 3 coming out of turn 1 there.
Yeah, Cheney running just at a blistering pace right now, but the downside to that is he's going to encounter some lap traffic here very soon.
Well, he'll get around this car here, I think, pretty easily. Dives in, so maybe not, maybe not. Ooh.
I believe that's Tim Campo.
Yeah, he had to hit the brakes there for a second. I don't think that's going to be enough for Van Eperen to close in, but it definitely broke some time there. So Van Eperen, Carlson, there's that battle. There's Cheney coming across for lap number 5, and the competition caution coming out, Shane. So Cheney grabbing the lead here early, and they're going to re-rack them with Rodney Van Eperen and Andrew Carlson second and third.
Yeah, Kyle Cheney right now looks absolutely dialed, but I got to be honest, I'm keeping my eye on that battle for second and third between Van Eperen and Carlson. I think that's where the action's going to be.
Absolutely. So competition caution is out. We'll re-rack them here. I think we got some more info from Haley down there in the hot pits.
Guys, I want to talk about a driver moving forward. He did start 10th. He's made I was talking to Shearing Speed Sport owner Steve Shearing earlier, and I said, hey, not a bad weekend for Elliott. But I said, where does Elliott feel like he can gain in this class? He said, into play here is experience. He's up against so many other competitors here in the Pro Mod that have many more laps than him. So while he is making gains in the class, I think you're going to see more and more of that as he gains more seat time.
All right, thanks, Haley. Appreciate that. And we get ready to re-rack them here. It is Cheney, Van Epper, Carlson, Luberg, Stubbs, Tid, Wozniak, Scotty Lawrence there is 8th. Olson, True is 10th. So getting ready here. Greaves is pretty much out of this one. Got to find out what happened to the car during this one for CJ Greaves. He's got still another race coming up this afternoon, but getting ready to go here for our AMSOIL Pro Mod side-by-side final few laps. What do you think?
I like I said, going into our caution here, I think the battle to watch here in the second half is still going to be Carlson trying to put a move on Van Eperen. In some spots on the track, Carlson's definitely faster, but then lap over lap, the interval was just about the same. So Carlson either has to find a little bit extra, find that special sauce, or Van Eperen's going to have to make a mistake.
Or Van Eperen needs to get up on Cheney's tail here and make a move early on the restart. So we'll see what happens here in just a few moments as the lead car. They're going to stop here for a sec. Get them all bunched up together, and then our pace car will get going. So AMSOIL Pro Mod side-by-side final here. Last 5 laps coming up. Want to remind you guys real quick, at the end of the day, they're going to clean the hill completely and clean the grounds. They do ask you to take your chairs back to your pits or back with you. They don't want any chairs or any stuff left on the hill. They are going to clean it out. And if something is left, they said they are going to toss that. So make sure you take your chairs with you, and you can bring them back in the morning and set them back up. So thank you for that. Take your chairs with you at the end of the day. All right, Shane, we are getting ready. Pro Mod side-by-side, final few laps here. And let's see what's going to happen at the start of this one.
rolling back to this restart. There goes the pace car into the hot pit. So Kyle Cheney will take control of the field once again. You remember Van Eperen got that amazing start, but this time Cheney's going to pull away right away. So
he did. He kind of backed off and held up Rodney there. Rodney hit the brakes, and that's when
that's all more of that gamesmanship that we've been talking about all day.
Here comes Carlson. Carlson trying to make a move. As Van Eperen got a little bit loose, a little bit sideways. And
Carlson with a great run.
Yes, beautiful.
Well, into second for now because Van Eperen's going to charge up the inside. Good move there by Carlson as he will move into second place. Now let's see if Carlson has anything for Cheney in these closing laps.
Good call. Cheney's on it, though. But Andrew Carlson into second. Van Eperen third. Who do we got behind them? Is that Luberg still?
Yeah, Luberg, that number 7 Polaris running in 4th.
Cheney pulling away from Carlson. Shane, and a good lap there for Kyle Cheney. Really gained some ground there.
Cheney at this point looks almost untouchable. Well, he's got that red number plate for a reason, though. I mean, he had a few runs like this last year as well.
It's Rodney Van Eperen in third. There is Carlson in second. Got to try to make a move on Cheney here. About 4 to go. AMSOIL Pro Mod side-by-side final here. Dirt City Motorplex, part of the Championship Off-Road Series. This is a good one. It's going to come down to the wire, but Cheney's been in control, like you said, Shane, and looks like he still is. Even if there was a mistake or something, Carlson's got to get around him even to get into that lead. I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, maybe something that might factor in is these top 3 guys dialing back just a little bit to save the equipment for tomorrow. As meanwhile, a little bit further back, we've got a 3-car
Cheney
battle.
Has a problem. Something going on. And Carlson ran into it. Here comes Rodney Van Eperen into the lead. What happened there?
Unbelievable bad luck. It looks like Cheney's back underway.
I was so surprised by that. I didn't even... Cheney had a huge problem, stalls
Yeah,
it.
what in the world?
Carlson ran into him, and Rodney was in the right place, far enough back that he just went by both of them
Veteran
there.
savvy there by
Unbelievable.
Van Eperen to be able to make all the right moves to get around the traffic. So now Van Eperen back in control as we're going to take a look at a replay here.
I don't think any of us were
Just
expecting
lost
this.
fire completely.
He did, and
Carlson had nowhere to go.
Boom, right into him. And watch Rodney here.
Yeah, Carlson, all four wheels locked up for Carlson there,
Totally.
so nothing he can do at that point.
And here comes Rodney. And,
Yeah,
maybe not. There he is.
right at the end of the shot, Van Eperen just snuck on by, and he will inherit the lead. So
it's Van Eperen, and here comes Carlson again, trying to make a move. So Andrew Carlson having a great drive today, and they are side by side going into turn number 3.
yeah, bumper to bumper now.
Carlson trying to make a move.
Dives to the inside. It's not going to be there. Will he try an outside in move here on Van Eperen?
Nice move, sliding it.
Looking for it. Not quite enough traction to make that move work.
So lap number 8 in the books. And it is Van Eperen and Carlson. This is lap number 8. All right, what's going to happen here? Here we go. White flag coming out for Rodney Van Eperen.
1 lap to go. Here is your battle for the lead in Amsoil Bromont side by side. Van Eperen holds the advantage narrowly over Carlson. Carlson again dives down to the inside.
No one talking about Stubbs in third, the 88 car.
Yeah. Very quietly moved up into the top 3.
He did. Luber in 4th and Scotty Lawrence up to 5th. In that 26, he's actually battling Luberg back there out of sight. But here is Rodney Van Eperen and Andrew Carlson. Carlson lost a little bit on that lap, and Rodney Van Eperen looks like he's going to bring it home with 2 turns here. All right, Shane.
Carlson struggling for traction even late in the race here. One last time down into the hole and up onto the front straight. That's trouble for Carlson.
Carlson stalled
Carlson
out.
pulls off the pace. Checkered flag. Van Eperen will take the win.
Who's going to come across second?
It's Stubbs from nowhere,
Look at
finishing
that.
second.
And
Carlson got it refired. He'll take third. Scotty Lawrence fourth. My goodness. The 78 of Olsen across the line in 5th.
And Brian Wozak 6th. Luber dropped to 7th. Wow.
So many things were going wrong for so many drivers. It was hard to keep up with that one, Dave.
Well, it was cool either way.
Van
Rodney
Eperen
Van
just
Eperen.
calm, cool. I didn't see.
Andrew Carlson, you were a man on a mission down there. You had one of the fastest cars on track. So talk to me about the series of events that happened in the late stages there. Of course, you were right on the rear axle of Rodney there. Then some unfortunate events happening in the last few turns.
Yeah, I knew we had a good car to start with. I unfortunately ran out of tear-offs in like last 4. So I knew I kind of had to let the carnage sort out. And then right after halfway, I made a move on Rodney and ended up chasing down Kyle, and he ended up braking and stayed right in the middle of the track. So I ended up getting collected in that, and yeah, it just kind of went downhill from there. So we were running good in second. I think we had some, towards the end of the race there, and then it was kind of one line. So ended up going into limp mode in the last corner, so kind of gave the second to Luke there. But yeah, the car was really good. I'm just glad we finished today, and I think we showed some speed.
You absolutely did, and you kept us on the edges of our seats for the majority there. Who would you like to thank for the podium?
I just got to thank Drew and everyone at Carlson Motorsports for making this UTV program work this year. Polaris, Yokohama Tire, Fox Shocks, done a lot of testing on this thing, and I feel like we got a really good package. We just we got to put it out there on the track and get out front, and I think we'll be good. So,
Elk River's Andrew Carlson. We'll see him in a little bit coming up in Pro 4. Luke Stubbs, your second place finisher. You made quite the entrance to your podium position there, and this is a story I want to hear more about. So talk to me, what happened in the series of events leading up to that pass you made?
So last year, I didn't finish ever on the podium or hardly even finish a race. So this is really, really good to finish on the podium this time. But we started in 7th and worked our way through the pack, due to some attrition in the pack up in front of me. I was able to kind of get everything through, and the last couple laps, it just seemed to all click and made some headway on the leaders. So, and I was right there for Andrew's unfortunate event in that corner, so I capitalized on that.
Is today's performance, is this going to be a game changer for you as you head into round 4 as far as your mental?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it gives me a lot more confidence driving and the lines and learning, and it's all about seat time. And for me, I don't have a lot compared to all these front guys that qualified 1st through 6th, so that helps a lot.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Dirt Launch Power Sports, Beyond Redline, the Greased crew with Johnny and CJ. I mean, they built that car, and it's performed awesome. Rodney Van Eperen helped with the shocks this last go-around, and that really came and played a big part.
Congratulations. This is Luke Stubbs in 2nd.
Thank you.
Rodney Van Eperen, you read the track and you did what you needed to do to put the pieces together. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, I made a ton of mistakes the first half of the race. We had a little bit of a gremlin second half, but I actually ran good lines. So, I'd rather be lucky than good any day, and I don't think we quite had the pace of the leaders, but we were close, and finally got some luck rolling our way, and we have a good car. It's prepped and it's finished. I got to thank Luke and all the guys at Beyond Redline. If you know how many hours I spent there this last week, man, I feel sorry for them and their wives and girlfriends, I'll tell you that. But I got to thank my crew. These guys busting butt all the time. Chad, Winky, Hutch, my mom and dad, Ethan, my kid, and throw a shout out to Owen in that second in pro stock. I don't know how I got in that car. My heart was jumping out of my chest. So that was probably, that's a little more highlight than this. But again, I got to thank everybody else, Yamaha, all the guys in the race department, Donnie, Steve, and Glenn. Them guys, Glenn too built the motor. It redid the motor after last race, and everything was top notch. Demon Axles, Vance and Hines Exhaust, Balin Buildings. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch, but thank everybody here. And we got a big crew from Freedom here. It's pretty cool to see all these guys come out and support us. So thank you guys very much, and we're going to come back tomorrow swinging.
Man, what a solid day for Rodney and the entire Van Eperen family. Congratulations to your top 3 in Pro Mod side-by-side, guys. The Pro Lite. And of course, he was racing actually the West Coast before he came here to the Midwest, our Georgia runner. I said, how does this compare to some of the tracks you've seen out on the West Coast? He said, this is most like a Glen Helen or even Chandler, Arizona. So for any of you fans watching who are familiar with our West Coast competition, that is what this track is most comparable to. That's coming from Mickey Thomas in the 44.
All right, thank you, Haley. Also in the field, we have the number 42, Kyle Kleiman, as it's green flag, and sure jumps out to the early lead.
Also in there, Kincaid, Mickey Thomas, Cody Gill, Scott Vogue, and Bob Brand going at it. So they are off and running. It looks like the 47, Justin Schur, your early leader.
And the privateer coming from Arizona. But here comes Kleiman up the inside. Look at how wet it is down there, Dave.
And they collide.
Contact Kirchner and Kleiman tangled for the moment. Schur is going to hold on to the lead for now. Cinderella story, Justin Schur, the privateer, using that front row start to his advantage.
So Schur out front. The 42 of Kleiman moving into second. He's going to set himself up pretty into this corner.
Side by side, it's going to be slick down there, though, too, Dave. Kleiman.
It is.
Hard on the binders, trying to get the truck to rotate.
Yeah.
Not a lot of forward bite. They're side by side still. And Schur is going to hold on and lead the first lap.
Not for
Maybe.
long. Not for
Kleiman
long.
alongside.
Kleiman got a great drive down that straight as they were rubbing.
Look at Schur go back to the inside. He doesn't want to give up this lead quite yet.
Not yet, but Kleiman's got a good outside line in the option section. He takes over the lead.
So it'll be Kleiman, Mickey Thomas, who Haley was telling us all about, now battling Schur for second. Tell you what, Justin Schur, for a newcomer, a privateer, is driving one heck of a race right now. Stuck in the middle as there he over-rotated just a bit, so Thomas is going to get by. Kirchner, also a rookie here in this Pro 2 field, running in 4th.
Yeah, I was just going to say Kirchner right there, just out of the shot of that drone. There he is in 4th, the 84, the black truck on the inside. I think he's going to make a move here into 3rd on the inside. See the black 84, there it is.
There he
nice
goes
move
to
into
the
3rd.
inside,
Yeah.
Sure.
And that 4 is sneaking in. Keegan Kincaid, don't count him out yet, in 5th. Here he comes down the front straight in 5th.
Taking a look at our second place truck right now, that's Mickey Thomas in the Mystic Lubricants truck, number 44, up here from Dawsonville, Georgia. Yeah, sure has his hands full right now with Kincaid. Kincaid probably has about, 50 times the number of laps in a Pro 2 truck that Sure does, so we'll see how long Sure can hold on here. Tell you what, he's putting a great drive together.
He is that all-white number 47 truck, trying to make a name for himself here and try to have a podium finish, but he's got some company on his tail.
Yeah, taking a look back out front, Thomas maybe starting to reel in the number 42 of Kleiman.
The 44 of Thomas trying to make a move.
Meanwhile, Kincaid has gotten around Justin Sure, so Kincaid up into 4th place. He'll now have his sights set on the 84 of Kirchner as they come down the front straight.
So Kincaid in the 4, up to 4th, making some moves. Trying to get into 3rd there.
Both Kincaid and Kirchner take the left-hand split lane, so Kirchner able to slam the door. Kincaid getting beat around a little bit, knocked around in the early going.
So the 4 of Kincaid, like I said, trying to make a move here, looking for anything around Kirchner in that 84. If they've kind of dropped off Kleiman and Thomas, 1 and 2. Here they are on your screen, your leaders. They're having a good battle, but they have really pulled away from Kirchner and Kincaid in 3rd and 4th. So this battle totally
no doubt about it, though, Dave. Thomas is reeling in Kleiman right now. So that'll be a battle to keep an eye on as well. Of course, we do have the competition yellow still yet to come.
And that battle heating up behind them, but Kleiman and Thomas, 1 and 2. There's Kleiman here on your screen.
Kleiman trying to pick up his 2nd win of the year after winning one of the 2 rounds in ERX. Of course, Kincaid was your other winner a couple of weeks ago as we take a look at Mickey Thomas.
Here's your 3rd place battle. Kincaid now into 3rd. Gets around Kirchner, so it happened. Keegan Kincaid out of Aragon, Wisconsin on the Vision Wheel, Cooper Tire, Amsoil back truck.
Another good look at Kincaid there as he stretches the lead that he has for that 3rd place spot over Kirchner. Good early showing for a couple of rookies, though, at least in the opening laps of this race.
Here's back out Thomas. Yep, they're going at it still, Shane.
Thomas chose to follow Kleiman through the left hand of the split lane.
Drone shot over both of them there. Drag racing through. And we're approaching that competition yellow you just talked about. Kleiman leading this one. Mickey Thomas in 2nd. Then you got Kincaid and Kirchner.
Yeah, Kincaid now finally totally free of Kirchner, so eyes are forward, and that's all.
But they are a ways back, about 9 seconds back, Shane, from your leaders. So there is
that
the
9 seconds is now all gone. We've reached the halfway caution. Kleiman will pick up the bonus point for leading at the halfway. I tell you what, Mickey Thomas, I feel like he's got enough speed to definitely pressure Kleiman, if not try to put a move on him. Kincaid is 3rd at the break. Kirchner, excellent run for him in 4th. Mark Peterson is 5th. And we have Haley Shanley trackside. Haley, what do you have for us?
Just from conversations I've had with some Pro 2 and even Pro Lite drivers in the pits, in contrast to their Pro 4 counterparts, these Pro 2s and Pro Lites, they really like a nice curb, that cushion we call it here in short course off-road. So where is that cushion developing right now? As far as the buggies go, we saw that cushion really start to develop outside of turn 1. You're also really going to see a nice cushion just on the opposite side of the Champ off-road finish line here. And in fact, that cushion has moved out about 2 truck widths throughout the day. Now, I was talking to some of the spotters just a few moments ago. The track is hardening up a bit, so pay close attention. It'll be interesting to see how much this track continues to develop and how much that curb continues to work in.
Yeah, thank you for that, Haley. You brought up an excellent point. The these trucks throw so much dirt off the top of this racing surface that the line choice can change drastically from, lap 1 to lap 4 to lap 12. That's why I'm wondering if Mickey Thomas was maybe hanging back a little bit, waiting for the track to come in a little bit more, so there's more than 1.5 racing lines and maybe it widens out just a little bit.
Well, we'll see. It's Kyle Kleiman out front, Mickey Thomas, Keegan Kincaid, and Kirchner in that 4th spot. And they're going to restart them here in about 2 corners. Let's see what Kleiman could do in the 42. Kenda Ponce, Ultra Wheel, and Pro Power out of Wilson, Michigan, your leader. And the 44 of Thomas.
Got to recognize, too, in 5th right now, it's Mark Peterson, the local favorite, filling in for Corey Winters. So that's a strong run for Peterson as well. Whole field stacks up, and Kleiman timed that absolutely perfectly on that restart. Everybody else was just checking up behind him when he took off. So Kleiman out to about a 3-car length lead as Thomas over-rotates. There goes Kincaid. Now Kirchner has a shot to get back into the top 3.
Thomas got hung up with Kincaid there, lost that position, so he goes back to 3rd. Kincaid up to 2nd. Think he could catch up to Kleiman?
This is kind of the battle that we thought we might see at the front of this field.
He's got a little bit of time to do it, so we'll see what Keegan Kincaid can do. There he is coming around the sweeper and down the hill into the gully. Hard on the brakes.
Yeah, you can see those braking bumps that are starting to wear in now. You see the trucks dive up and down.
Mickey Thomas still right there, Shane, so he's not giving anything up yet in 3rd, but they're already pulling away from that 4th spot. 84 of Kirchner. The 47 of Sure has dropped back a little. He's 5th.
Yeah, Thomas again through turn 1, really pitching the truck in hard. So we look back out front, Kyle Kleiman. Bark River is his home track, so kind of the Bark River versus Crandon matchup with Keegan being from Argonne, just up the road from Crandon.
Well, Thomas here.
Also 2 second-generation drivers and champions as well.
A lot of names in this one for sure, so it's Kleiman, Kincaid, and Thomas, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Thomas is not letting Keegan Kincaid get away right now, but someone who is getting away a little bit is Kleiman back out front. We're riding along now with Keegan Kincaid. Looks like he pulled away a little bit from Thomas down the front straight.
He got a good drive out of that corner. And Kincaid spun a little bit as Thomas is kind of closing it. There you see on your screen. Kincaid in the number 4.
Yeah, Thomas really closed the gap there.
He did. He's throwing it into that turn, trying to get a little more traction on the inside. Seemed to be catch up. Kincaid a little bit off the track there slightly. See if they can dive into this corner here, turn 5, and see if they can make something happen.
Thomas is going to try to outbrake Kincaid there. Yeah, Keegan doing a nice job playing defense. I mean, he's got his dad, Jeff Kincaid, a multiple-time champion on the radio for him, so nobody is going to surprise Keegan Kincaid with any kind of move.
Up front, Kleiman, there he is, exiting the screen as we watch the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Kincaid and Thomas, awesome battle here at Dirt City Motorplex.
Yeah, Thomas really closes the gap on the intersection of the course. But it seems like Keegan might just have a little more on the top end when they get back on these long straights.
And exiting the corners, too. I think Kincaid is a little better. I think Thomas is a little better coming into the corners.
Again, through that sweeper, it's pretty much wide open through there, even for these full-size pro trucks.
What a battle there for 2nd and 3rd, Keegan Kincaid and Mickey Thomas out front. Kyle Kleiman has a 3.5-second lead on Kincaid. He's all alone, not even in your screen right now.
Look at Thomas again, dives down to the inside of Kincaid. They're both taking that left-hand split lane and pretty much have been the whole time here. Almost bumper to bumper as they come into the right-hander, turn number 2.
Tight. Yes, sir. It's getting tight in this corner.
Looks to the inside. Now he's stuck on the outside. See wheel-to-wheel contact there, a little tire smoke. Oh, no,
Thomas makes
trouble
a
for
big
Thomas.
mistake.
And Thomas is parked now.
So that's going to change up also behind him, the 84 of Kirchner.
Yeah, Kirchner is going to, the rookie in Pro 2 is going to inherit third place.
Oh, and Sure, I believe, slid out behind him.
White flag is out, Dave. 1 lap to go for Kleiman. Enjoying a nice Saturday afternoon cruise way out front,
Very
5+
impressive.
seconds over Kincaid.
Yeah, beautiful drive here for Kyle Kleiman. 42, Kenda Ponce Ultra Wheel helping him out. And the boys in Kenda going to be excited about this one. Kincaid still second, but he is 5 seconds back. On board with Kyle Kleiman here.
Yeah, tiptoeing through that local yellow flag where Thomas is parked. One last time through the sweeper. Headed down for turn number 5. It has been all Kyle Kleiman after about the 3rd lap of this one. The checkered flag is in hand. And your winner here in Pro 2 in round number 3 is Kyle Kleiman. Keegan Kincaid across the line in second. Then we've got a long gap. There he is. The rookie in Pro 2, Kirchner, will come across the line in 3rd. And how about it? Mark Peterson filling in for Corey Winter across the line in 4th. I see the Broken Dirty contingent down there showing the love.
They're excited. Good job for Peterson in 4th there. And here's your official results for Pro 2. Kyle Kleiman, Keegan Kincaid, and Kirchner. Zachary Kirchner ended up 3rd.
Our rookie here, first time on the box here, and first run at Dirt City. Congratulations on this one. How good does this podium feel?
Oh man, it feels amazing to be up here. I mean, qualifying was a little rough this morning and bent up the whole front end and had to build a new front bumper, and we just came out and we're hoping for the best.
Who would you like to thank?
Oh gosh, I gotta thank the whole crew, Todd Sleeper for letting me pit with them, my mom, my dad, yeah, everybody, Kyle, Riley, Jake, Todd Sleeper for spotting for me, just everyone who helps out.
Congratulations. This is our rookie, Zachary Kirchner here in Pro 2. Keegan Kincaid, this one was a game of survival for you. I heard you saying, you know, there was some bumping and banging out there. How did you manage to hang on to the pace throughout?
Yeah, they got away early. It took a little bit too long to get around some people, but we ended up losing a little bit of power steering, so we were just doing all we could to hold on to Mickey, and I don't know, we made a little contact over there. I don't know what happened to him, but it was going to come down to the end. I was just surviving, hoping to get a good points run here, and that's what we did. So we'll go back and work on this thing and come back with a better truck tomorrow. So, but I can't thank Cooper Tire, Vision Wheel, Amsoil, Traxxas, my guys for working their butts off in this heat. You guys for coming out in this heat. It's hot, and it's hot in those trucks too. So I just got to give a shout out for all the fans. It feels good to be racing in front of you all, and hopefully we can put on a good show tomorrow.
Keegan Kincaid in second place here for Pro 2. And Kyle Kleiman, this one was all you. I know you were up to a 3.5-second lead at one point there. Once you found out you had the gap that you did on the rest of the field, was this a chance for you to breathe and kind of stretch your legs?
Honestly, these guys are so fast they can run you down at any time if you take a breath. So I just kept pushing till the end. You know, the track was pretty gnarly. Track crew actually did a really, really good job at what they had. So hats off to those guys. You know, we just kind of got out in front and we just wanted to keep that lead. I know it's a tight track, it's hard to pass, so that was our goal. Huge hats off to my crew, my fiance, my family, my mom and dad, Kenda Tires for everything they do for us, JP for coming out. There's a lot of guys out there. Thank you guys so much for putting all the time into my program.
Another win for Kyle Kleiman here with Championship Off-Road. This is your Pro 2.
How
Keep an eye on both of those guys there in row number 2. Rayford on the inside, Holcher on the outside. Already some contact. Holcher got into the back of Kleiman just a little bit. Plenty of fender-to-fender contact and bumping and banging going on through turn 1 across this whole field.
There's a 44. Holcher sneaking in. Nice move into second as Plouffe kind of checking out just slightly up front.
Yeah, Kleiman's going to make a run back on the outside of Holcher, though. Yeah, Holcher slams the door, so nice move there by Johnny Holcher as he takes over second. Although here comes Kleiman once again.
Yeah, Holcher's pushing Kleiman inside. Nope. Plouffe out front. And Holcher going to try to dive inside here. Turn 5, always a good one. And I think he makes it stick. Nice move. That's
a little contact.
Kleiman sneaking into second there momentarily.
3 wide as Rayford is forcing the issue down the front straight. Rayford with a great run, got around Plouffe. Door-to-door contact in the air with Kleiman. Man, that was an aggressive straightaway run there by Chad Rayford as they're still door-to-door, and Rayford takes over the spot, so Rayford is now up to second.
Oh, and 2 cars get together.
And again, Kleiman involved in some contact along with Simic in that number 7.
There you go. So, Plouffe still leading.
Yeah, plenty of, actually it's Holcher out front.
Holcher.
Plenty of aggression going on between all these guys right now.
There's Kleiman. Some bodywork flying off of that thing.
Here's your battle for second beginning to shape up now as Kyle Greaves. Wow, Kyle Greaves just dove down to the inside and absolutely stole that second spot away from Rayford.
They collide.
Contact now.
I see some smoke coming out of Kyle Greaves' truck.
Yeah, it looked like that might have been just fiberglass on the tire.
Okay. Yeah, because he pulls away a little bit, sure.
Something to keep an eye on maybe, but
Simic trying to make a move on Rayford here for third. As Holcher.
Here comes Simic now. He's diving down to the inside of Rayford on the right-hander. And Simic, nice little slide job move there on Rayford.
Holcher pulling away out front, though. Kyle Greaves, Rayford, Simic. And Kleiman back in about 6th.
Hey, Zach Simic doing a nice job right now keeping up with Kyle Greaves. Taking a look back out front, though, Johnny Holcher is about 20 truck lengths ahead of Greaves. As Greaves and a couple of these trucks are landing awfully nose heavy over that finish line tabletop.
Kyle Greaves on it. Getting a little loose coming out of turn 1. Kind of bouncing around. And there he is. KGB Customs ride. There is Simic in the 7th. 3rd and 4th there.
This battle for second staying hot right now. Simic doing a great job keeping pace with Greaves. Let's see if he tries an inside move. They make contact and Greaves goes around, and now they're parked bumper to bumper. They've got to separate themselves, so Rayford, meanwhile, went around the shot there. He's back into second place.
Competition yellow is coming out, Shane.
This is a full course yellow.
Oh, it sure is.
Oh, I see what it is.
Absolutely.
There you see Matt Miller ended up parked on the side over there. So tough break for him. Another one of the privateers here in our Pro Lite field.
Well, they get him back on 4. Holcher had a good lead. Here's the replay, possibly. No, this is the other move. Simic into Greaves.
Yeah, Simic was just a little bit too aggressive there. Unfortunately, they both paid the price, too. There you see Rayford flying on by up into second. And we are going to go down trackside now. Haley Shanley. Haley, what's the update you got for us?
Yeah, you mentioned mentioned Chad Rayford, who's currently sitting in second. He decided to rejoin the field actually just the day before ERX. Fortunately, didn't have time to put the pieces together to join us for rounds 1 and 2, but they rolled up their sleeves, they got to work, and they got that Pro Lite truck back together here for Dirt City. Now, I was chatting with some of his teammates down here in the work area, and I said, what's Chad's strength? They said he's been historically pretty good on the short track. So he qualified 4th, as you saw, currently up in 2nd. So keep your eyes on Chad Rayford, the 29.
Yeah, and you were mentioning that, Shane, beforehand, to keep an eye on Rayford, and she's called it out, and he's up to 2nd. So Holcher leading this one, Rayford, Simic.
Yeah, then you got Plouffe in 4th. So a good run for him. And Kleiman's been getting knocked around a little bit.
Yeah, yes. And Greaves back to 5th after that little exchange there in turn 5. So keep an eye on him as well.
Yeah, I think Greaves is going to have something to prove here in these closing laps.
All right, so they're leading them back around. We'll get rolling here for our Pro Lights.
All right, Dave, I confirmed it with race control. This is going to count as the competition yellow.
Okay.
So from here on out, barring another incident, it's going to be green flag all the way up to that white flag and then the checkered flag. See if anybody can throw an anchor on Johnny Holcher.
Right, out front. That 44. Sparco, Victory Sign, Rainer's Cheese, Fiberworks, Super Clean, Rugged Radios, Method Race Wheels.
Yeah, another close look there at the rear end of the truck of Cody Kleiman. It's a lot of sheet metal that they use to mount the body on there. It's like both sides are damaged hanging off the back end. Fortunately, that's only cosmetic.
Your jokes are a drag. Yeah, I sure do.
All right, we are about to go back to green flag racing. As we said, that will count as the competition yellow, so from here on out, it's wide open racing, all gas, no brake. Johnny Holcher takes control of the field. Let's see how he decides to restart this one, and right away he takes... clicks when they reset it. Check, check. All right, we're taking a look out front once again with Kyle Greaves. Greaves has moved up into the lead. Unfortunately, we lost our audio there momentarily, so it's Greaves, Rayford, Holcher, Shimmick, and Plouffe just to reset your top 5 for you.
Here comes Holcher trying to make a move on Rayford, and Simic right there as well.
Shimmick's going to dive down to the inside of Holcher, side by side for the moment, but Holcher was a little bit more forward drive out of that left-hander onto the back straight. Then through that wide open left-hand sweeper up and over the rise and down into the gully in turn 5. Holcher really trying to outbrake Rayford there. They're side by side with Rayford on the inside.
Good racing down the front straight.
Let's see if Johnny Holcher can get a run and hold this inside lane.
He pinned it off of that tabletop and into turn 1.
Yeah, Rayford's not going down without a fight though. Wheel to wheel, they split the split lanes. And Rayford washed out just a little bit, and that's going to give that spot to Johnny Holcher.
Nice
Now let's see
pass.
if Johnny Holcher can reclaim that form that he had earlier when he was leading.
All right, so there's Holcher, the 44, and Rayford, the 29, second and third. Around the sweeper as they're chasing Kyle Greaves.
Yeah, Holcher already pulling away from Rayford, though. See if he has enough left in him to close the gap between him and Kyle Greaves.
There's a drone shot as Greaves now. He's got a good 3-second lead on Holcher. And Rayford just about a second back, actually lost a little bit of time that lap. And Plouffe up to fourth.
Yeah, we touched on that. Taking a look at what's left of that battle for second between Holcher and Rayford. Holcher definitely in control of that second spot. Back out front with Kyle Greaves trying to make it 3 wins in a row to start the whole Champ Off-Road Series, not just 2020, but his name's in the history books as the series' first ever Pro Lite winner. Followed it up with the win on day 2 at ERX, and he is out front here at Lena.
And just before the yellow, you know, he was back in 5th or 6th, so to see him come through and do this, pretty impressive. Kyle Greaves in the KGB Motorsports ride.
Yeah, even that drone shot, you can see how degraded the track surface is and how much these guys, you know, from far away it looks like smooth sailing out there, but up close you can tell that the suspension is doing a lot of work even on the smoothest parts of the course just to soak up the bumps and the holes and the rocks that are developing.
There it is once again, the drone shot of Kyle Greaves around the sweeper there. Exactly what you're talking about. Suspension doing all the work, and he tosses it into turn 5 and back up and out onto the front straight one more time. The white flag coming out here from Kyle Greaves. Holcher, Rayford, and Plouffe. Second, third, and fourth. Kyle Greaves in control of this one.
It's all Kyle Greaves out front one last time through the split lane. He will have to deal with one lapped car as Matt Miller is up ahead. Now we take a look at Holcher. There's Matt Miller. You can see just ahead of Kyle Greaves. I'm sure Matt Miller's spotter is already on the radio saying, hey, you got a fast car behind you.
Hold the inside.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Nice sportsman-like move there.
Well, Kyle Greaves one more time looking for another win here. Looking to make it 3 for 3, and it should do it. 1 corner to go as it comes up out of the gully. Takes the right-hander and back down the front straight. It's Kyle Greaves, Pro Lite winner.
Yeah, what a statement to come into the class, a competitive Pro Lite class, and just kick it off with 3 wins. Johnny Holcher second. Rayford is across the line in third. So welcome back to the Pro Lite field, Chad Rayford. Kleiman will be fourth. A lot of attrition in that race as well. Plouffe will cross the line 5th.
And there's your official.
it feels good to get the win today, obviously, but I definitely really had to work hard for that one, and unfortunately, I kind of cut off Rayford. I didn't mean to, but and then I got spun out in the hole down there, but it worked out in my favor, and we were able to come home with the win. And I really got to thank KGB Customs, General Tire Ultra Wheel, Winter Motorsports, Automatic Transmission Design, Custom Off-Road Designs, Aaron Precision, everybody that gives me a hand. I really appreciate it. And I really got to give a shout out to my mom. She's my hero. She's my biggest supporter. My father, Kurt, he's been guiding me around the track, telling me where to go, where's good, where's all the holes are at. My brother, he's here supporting, and I got the whole Lena crew. It's basically like my whole town. Broken Dirty, man, it's a good one, and can't wait to come back out tomorrow and hopefully do it again.
Kyle, I'm really surprised you didn't mention this in your thank yous, but it appears that the mullet adds some horsepower.
What's that?
I'm surprised you didn't mention this. It appears that the mullet adds some horsepower.
Yeah, the mullet.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Kyle Graves, on the win, and this is your Pro Lite podium.
Win 101. The number 26 is Scotty Lawrence making a push, see what he can do in the Pro 4.
And rounding out your 8-truck field from Millersport, Ohio. Sponsored by Can-Am, number 91 is Kyle Cheney. We are underway. Kyle LeDuc starting on the pole. He'll have the inside line, but look at that run on the outside by Cheney. Side by side. Big time aggressive run up the outside for Cheney, and Cheney is going to take the lead away from Kyle LeDuc.
Great start. LeDuc actually slipped a little in turn one, lost a little bit of traction. Here he comes, he's coming back at it. Trying to get back in there early. CJ's in third. Johnny and Carlson fourth and fifth.
Cheney absolutely giving Kyle LeDuc nowhere to go. LeDuc looked inside on 3 straight corners, and Cheney slammed the door each and every time. So out front, it's Cheney. He's got about a 6-truck length lead over Kyle LeDuc.
LeDuc closing in that turn, man. He's laying it out, trying to get back in the mix.
Now LeDuc is as competitive as anybody I've ever heard of. As we take a look at CJ Greaves, he's running in third. There's the 99 of LeDuc seeking win number 102. You can tell it's slick down there on the entry of that turn 1 there, Dave.
Yeah, they're braking a little earlier than we've seen. So trying to get the wheels under him. Here comes CJ Greaves at 33, making a nice entry into the corner. A little
contact again. So the battle for second really getting hot now. Greaves again tries to drive underneath LeDuc as they head back out. Trouble for Cheney.
Cheney gets sideways and drops back.
Kyle LeDuc will inherit the lead now. So there is your leader, the number 99 LeDuc, as they fly down into the gully in turn 5. Back out onto the front straight.
Yeah, and he's pulling it on. He is turning on as CJ Greaves in second. Johnny Greaves in third. Here's
taking a look at a replay of Cheney. Came in, rotated the truck, and just went around.
A little early.
A little bit aggressive. Maybe overestimated how much grip he can find down there. So we've got more drama happening off screen here.
That's Carlson.
Yeah, Carlson went for a ride there.
So
looks like Carlson went up and over for 1 roll.
LeDuc still leading this one. Greaves in second. But LeDuc making some ground right now on CJ Greaves. As they go into the gully, there's Johnny Greaves on your screen. He's in third.
Yeah, shaping up to be a battle that we saw momentarily in ERX, although each of the Greaves trucks had some issues out there. This is why we wanted to have Kyle Leduc back here in the Midwest, because we knew that we're going to get the best out of Johnny Greaves and the best out of CJ Greaves, and that's what these race fans deserve. Look at Greaves just driving the truck in backwards.
He is. He's trying to learn from Kyle Leduc, too. Kyle throwing it there. And CJ tossing it in the corner as well. Watching the hot line of Kyle Leduc, seeing what he's doing. Johnny back there in third, but he's kind of losing pace with him as Leduc and CJ Greaves pulling away. How about Henderson at fourth, Cheney fifth, Lawrence sixth, Cheney back up to seventh, and Carlson after that rollover is in eighth.
Carlson managed to stay on the lead lap, though, so you can't count him out. The mid-race caution still yet to come.
Huge mistake for Leduc. He was up on two, and CJ closing in on him.
Makes the save. We're going to have a two-car race for first place here.
Well, I hope they have a replay of that one.
Leduc goes all over the place, and Greaves
CJ stalls it out. You've got to see the save on that one from Leduc. But back into the lead as CJ slid out. This might be it. Watch this, Shane.
Greaves driving hard on the limit and found the limit. There it is. Great save by Leduc.
That is the limit. The door stopped him, I think. Here's
a
where
look at CJ.
Just kind of slid out. Stalled it there momentarily. So Leduc out front. Man, he's got a healthy lead on CJ Greaves now. 4.4 seconds. And Johnny Greaves in third. Johnny actually closed in on CJ there.
All right, so a little bit of space for everybody right now, a chance to maybe catch your breath.
Jimmy Henderson's fourth, Kyle Cheney fifth, Adrian Cheney is in sixth.
Taking a ride along now with our drone op cam along with Kyle Leduc as we head down into turn number 5. Kyle just bounced off that inside tractor tire.
Just kissed it.
As we have reached our mid-race competition caution. Man, Kyle Leduc checked up a little bit before the finish line jump and landed nose heavy. Kyle Leduc is your leader, CJ Greaves second, Johnny Greaves third. As unfortunately Carlson did go a lap down. Henderson across the line fourth. Kyle Cheney, that's a strong run for him to be in the top 5.
And Adrian Cheney is sixth after leading early. All right, let's throw it down to Haley Shanley down in the hot.
Thanks, guys. We've heard a handful of drivers compare Dirt City Motoplex to an old school motocross track. So let's talk about a former pro motocross racer, Johnny Greaves. Johnny, when he does have a rare moment of spare time, he's building tracks. This is the first one he's built here at Dirt City. He's actually built another local track a few years ago up in Eagle River, the World Championship Derby Complex. But Johnny Greaves, he's going to build a track that's not going to pitch any driver easy pitches. He was going to build one that is going to challenge each and every one. Don Demony, the president of the Lena Motorsports Club, said he basically handed Johnny a wish list of features that he wants to see in this track, and Johnny delivered. I hope you guys have been enjoying this track as much as we have here this weekend so far.
Thank you, Haley. Yes, we are, as we get ready to re-rack them here for the final few laps of our Pro 4. All right, Leduc, Greaves. What do you think, Shane?
This is the battle that we all came here to see. This is all these fans that are here on the hill with us at the Dirt City Motorplex. Leduc versus Greaves. This is the battle that people bought their tickets for.
Think they're talking there, sharing a little
shake and bake,
a little shake and bake, a little insight on each other. You go outside, I'll go inside. So it's Leduc, Greaves, Henderson, Kyle Cheney, Adrian Cheney, Scotty Lawrence, and Andrew Carlson re-racking here. The final few laps, Pro 4, Dirt City Motorplex, Lena, Wisconsin. It's been a good one, Shane, and we got a few laps for our Pro 4 to finish off, some podium interviews, and we'll get out of here. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Hey, while we got a moment, Dave, I want to recognize that all our track workers are out there in this blistering heat, running around in the safety suits, trying to make sure that all these drivers are safe. They've been out there, they take a swig of water when they have a spare moment, which at the pace we've been going today hasn't been very often. So we do want to recognize the efforts of all those people that actually are grossly underappreciated for making this racing go.
No, great call, and they're out of sight, kind of out of mind as well. But they're out there. We see them, and they've been on point all day today. They got a full day tomorrow to do it again too. Our flagger up there on the finish line as well. So, and some of the safety crews. Thank you guys all for your help as we zoom in on Kyle LeDuc, your leader, and they are getting rolling here for the final few laps of Pro 4.
Yeah, Kyle LeDuc halfway to notching win number 102.
Be amazing.
17 wins in Pro Lite in the early days, and then 84 wins in Pro 4.
All right, let's see if CJ Greaves or Johnny Greaves has something for Kyle LeDuc. Looked like they were talking there briefly in that sweeper while they were stopped. There's Carlson, Henderson, Cheney. All right, Shane.
Kyle LeDuc takes control of the field. And he waited till the very last moment to take off and got a great jump on CJ Greaves as they go down into turn 1. CJ's gonna have to force the issue here sooner or later. LeDuc almost got back up on the bicycle. Looks like just about everyone going left through the split lane.
Oh, CJ had a good drive through that corner.
Oh, contact.
He could go
Trying
inside
to
here.
force the issue. Let's see if he plays physical again here on this left-hander.
CJ got a good drive out of that corner. Not enough, though.
That's what it's going to take. You have to be super aggressive because LeDuc is aggressive all the time, whether he's got the race in the bag or not. You have to out-aggressive one of the best aggressive drivers in the sport of off-road racing.
Good luck with that. All right, LeDuc, CJ Greaves, Johnny Greaves. Henderson is actually 4th. Cheney, Lawrence Carlson. CJ going to take an opposite line. No, he hit the bank there. The split option, he hit the wall. Johnny back in 3rd. All right, these two pulling away once again.
Yeah, we'll see if CJ has enough truck left, if he hasn't pushed it too hard already. I mean, we saw CJ make a mistake in the first half of the race. You rarely see either Greaves driver make a mistake ever in Pro 4. So that tells you just where the ceiling is right now.
Well, he's driving the Vision wheels off of that thing and trying to make time, and he's actually kind of losing a little bit as he's 1.346 back. And Johnny Greaves is 4 seconds back from LeDuc, so Johnny kind of losing some time as well. CJ, like I said, he is throwing it every which way. And 1.3 back, even though it looked like in that corner they were pretty close. Kyle LeDuc on the gas at 99.
Man, watching Kyle LeDuc drive a Pro 4, it's performance art almost. The way that he's able to set the trunk like nobody else can, drive in almost backwards. He looks like at any given moment he's just about to lose control, but he's so perfectly in control as we take a look at Scotty Lawrence missing a whole bunch of body panels.
All right, LeDuc comes across again.
And LeDuc just about doubled the gap over CJ.
Look at that, 2.5.
Unbelievable.
And CJ's not making mistakes. It's just Kyle is on fire right now.
Oh no! A mistake from Kyle LeDuc.
Off the track.
Here we go. Greaves is going to have a shot. Greaves has a run.
Gotta get in
He's
there.
going to have to force it.
And even with that mistake, he can't get in there.
LeDuc is just absolutely on the ragged edge nonstop. Still rare to see a mistake from him, though.
Well, let's see if CJ can get in this corner or set him up here. Maybe that first turn area.
Yeah, like we were saying, it's gonna have to be a really aggressive move by CJ.
Oh, Kyle went pretty far outside.
Yeah, they're almost bumper to bumper as they enter the split lane. LeDuc just so consistently gets a good drive out of every corner, though. It's almost impossible for Greaves to
really
keep up.
does. Very impressive driving. Kyle LeDuc throwing it in sideways. CJ closing in. Couple more to go, Shane.
Yeah, and we're going to be coming to the white flag this time, so just under 1.5 laps to go.
CJ's going for it. This is the closest he's been the entire race.
Oh, no!
LeDuc is over!
LeDuc goes up and over. And he's going to be parked on his side,
That
so
is the
CJ
end.
Greaves will inherit the lead as the white flag comes out. Actually, we're going to see a yellow flag.
Wow. So, just what you were saying just before that is so aggressive, too aggressive, and look at that. On his side, look at all the body panels everywhere. CJ's like, yep, whatever. Wow.
Yeah, so rare for any of these guys as we take a look at the replay here.
Watch how he gets a little, see the back end steps out left, and then he turns it so hard to the right and just caught that edge up and over.
Yeah, looking now closely at CJ. Yeah, CJ was set up perfectly
He really
anyways
was.
to try to get a run there.
Wow. He's still on his
Not
side.
how you wanted to see that battle end for sure.
Way down in that goalie, the safety crew getting to him, making sure he's okay.
Yeah, there's that safety crew that we were talking about.
Kind of did a pirouette there at the end as well, so make sure he's good to go. Hoping everything is okay with Kyle LeDuc.
So resetting the field for the moment, you have CJ Greaves out front, Johnny Greaves in second, Jimmy Henderson is third, Kyle Cheney is fourth. Top four are all trucks built by the Greaves. Another look. See, that's a tricky situation with there's not a lot of room there for getting that car back dirty side down. We did receive word that Kyle LeDuc is A-OK inside the truck. Yet to be seen if he can continue racing. We'll find out. He would be at the tail end of the field, but even that alone would be extremely fun to watch. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, the thrilling conclusion of Pro 4 here at the Dirt City Motorplex Off-Road National. This is Champ Off-Road. We'll be right back.
Time to get out and play. AMSOIL delivers the ultimate protection for your vehicles and equipment. Fast, free shipping right to your door. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $100 and shipping is on us. Order now at amsoil.com.
Okay, we are back for the conclusion of Pro 4. There you go. Kyle LeDuc looks like he's going to rejoin the field. He's checking it out, making sure everything's tight on that number 99 truck.
Too cool. Awesome to see. And he pinned it down that front straight. Make sure everything's okay. Look at that thing.
Yeah, so this is going to be fun to watch because now we have Kyle LeDuc upset at himself, frustrated with something to prove. You know he wants to claw his way back to the podium. We're going to have an absolute shootout slugfest here in the closing laps of Pro 4.
How about Johnny and CJ?
They've been known to cast aside the standard family politeness from time to time.
Well, they're lining them up. We're going to have, looks like 2 laps to go. Double check on that. LeDuc getting back in the mix.
Yeah, 2 laps to go as CJ Greaves is about to take control of the field. Is 2 laps enough time for Kyle LeDuc to become relevant in the podium conversation, do you think? I mean, the way he looked in those first few laps, I would say yes.
Yeah, but is that truck in perfect shape still?
We'll find out. We're back under green flag racing.
All right, so it's CJ, Johnny, and the 44, Henderson.
Now let's see if Johnny can turn it up just a little bit here and put some pressure on CJ. As here comes LeDuc through the field.
Yeah, LeDuc got around one driver already. There's Henderson. Oh, is that Chenny?
Chenny caught an edge and went up and over. I mean, he's been known as the wild man for 20 years for incidents just like that one. All right, so we'll see what the race officials do here. And here comes the yellow flag, so we're going to slow him down again.
Watch this replay, Shane. Same, he just got up on 2 and cartwheeled up and over.
Well, that...
Wow. They hit one of our cameras? Or do you have it on board? Oh, he hit the drone.
It took out the drone.
Wow. The truck took out the drone.
Yeah, Chenny's still strapped and he looks to be all right. He was giving the thumbs up to our safety crew team down there.
Watch this live view from the drone. Unmanned, no one in it, but the truck, boom. What hit it? Something must have hit it. Not sure what, but there it goes off to the right. Yeah, hit off to the screen. Well, the drone's out, but we are all okay there.
We do have a spare, so everything's going to be just fine for tomorrow, so don't be too concerned.
I'm sure there's a drone store in Green Bay. We can go get one. How about Chenny, man? He took that hard tumble. They pull him off to the side of the track. Let's see if he can get underway or not.
Yeah, he showed a lot of speed early, so I'm excited to see him back out there tomorrow.
So how about LeDuc up to 5th in my book? Made a couple passes there.
All right, so when we come back to green flag racing, we are taking the green flag and the white flag. So there is 1 lap left to go here in Pro 4.
All right, 1 to go. It'll be green and white together. CJ Greaves coming at us. Pace truck pulls off. Johnny in 2nd. Henderson 3rd. Here we go.
Green flag and white flag are out. 1 final lap here in Pro 4.
CJ goes outside. Johnny tries to dive inside. Henderson has a good line as well.
You see Greaves trying to get a run on the inside. Up through the split lane, CJ holds about a 2-car length advantage over Johnny Greaves.
I think LeDuc made a pass too. He's up to 4th. Can he get a podium like you said?
That would just be unbelievable. He's going to try, though.
He's got to get around Henderson.
LeDuc looking underneath Henderson. Does he have a run? Henderson does a nice job of closing the door on LeDuc. 2 corners to go in that battle. Here comes Henderson on Johnny Greaves trying to make some moves.
Yeah, he's trying to sneak inside on Johnny. He wants to hold on to that podium, but he's got pressure from the air. LeDuc going for it.
Force it.
Coming to the line, though.
CJ Greaves is going to take the win. What about this battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th? It's Johnny Greaves. Henderson 3rd, Greaves 4th.
Henderson hangs on to the podium. Cheney 4th.
My goodness.
So Cheney should be fine with that points, even though he ended up 4th going into Elk.
I can't think of a better way to cap off the day of racing than what we just saw. Hey, fans, as you're leaving the facility here, if you bought a 1-day pass, we just got some good news from Don Demney. Maybe you bought a 1-day pass. You're not sure if you're coming back tomorrow. If you've decided that this was awesome and you...
Absolutely, Jimmy Henderson. First time on the box this year, but you had a very promising partial season in 2019. So what are the emotions for a finish like this after a run like that?
I mean, it's just, it was a tough practice yesterday. We rolled the truck, and I went into qualifying this morning nervous as can be, and to be able to go out there and put on a performance like that and to be able to hang with these guys at the end and know we have the speed, it's a huge confidence builder. I don't have the experience they have, but I got these guys helping me and coaching me and talking to me, and it means the world to me. I but I wouldn't be here without United Rentals, Kenda Tire, Maxima USA, Dirt Launch Products, and my family, my wife, my daughter Lorelai at home. Love you guys.
And I want to ask you, from your perspective in the cockpit, that last 2 laps there, you are up there. You have what it takes to run with the front runners, and you had a guy like Kyle LeDuc right on you. So talk about that pressure that you had to battle off.
Yeah, I mean, with Kyle LeDuc behind me, I knew he was going to be aggressive. He was probably shaking a little bit from the roll and wanted to get back in front. I protected the inside. He hit me a couple times trying to take it, and I just shifted gears, put it to the floor.
You maintain your line. Congratulations, Jimmy Henderson. Johnny Greaves, the racing we've seen all day, but especially from yourself in the Pro 4 field, I have to believe that was probably part of the vision when you built this track.
Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, I couldn't quite hang with those two, but I was in a great seat to watch a great battle, and I saw a lot of mistakes being made. And honestly, I was just running a calm, smooth race and not making mistakes. And I figured you got to be there in the end, and the track's going to tear up. And who knew when we first built this place? I helped them lay it out that we'd really be running Pro 4s on here, and I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun to run a Pro 4. So hats off to Dirt City and the whole Lena people, everyone that makes this happen, and Champ Off-Road and everybody else.
Congratulations, Johnny Greaves, P2.
I got to thank everybody that's part of this. My crew worked their butts off to make this happen. We turned around good from ERX and obviously Monster Vision Wheel, Maxxis Tire gave us everything we needed. Fox Shocks, VP Fuels, all these guys help us put this thing together, and every one of these trucks gets prepped out of our shop. So something to say for that crew out there.
Most definitely. Johnny Greaves, second here in Pro 4. CJ Greaves, you spun early, you had to rally back. You had some serious work to do there. And there was some good back and forth between you and another driver out there. So ultimately, what was it that you were able to muster that the rest of the field didn't?
Yeah, the track got rough. For being in Pro 4s here, everyone comes here and says, I don't know how you're going to run those things there. It is one of the most fun tracks we've ran on in a long time. And it felt like there was plenty of room. I don't think there was very minimal times that I felt like the track was narrow or anything. So all you Lena crew, all you guys that work your butts off to make this track, we really appreciate it. But at the end of the day, that race came down to mistakes, flat out mistakes. It seemed like I would make a mistake, he'd get away a little bit, he would make a mistake. Here we are, back to square zero. And I knew that's one of my things is I just know that pressure. You got to keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on till the very last lap and till the last jump, because there's always going to be that pressure being applied and a chance for a mistake, and that's what happened. He was really committing to the hole down here, and I just wasn't about to commit that hard, and he was definitely gaining time there, but I was thinking to myself, there's no way he can do this turn this way every single lap and nothing bad happen. And after halfway, I saw him start hesitating in a couple of turns, and I'm like, it's on now. So I knew it was just going to be pressure, and hats off to him. I mean, I think that was one of the best battles we've had in Pro 4 in a long time. So to do it between a bunch of monster trucks here in Champ Off-Road, how much better can it be?
Well said. Who else would you like to thank here?
Yeah, I got to thank all my crew, and especially Devin and Brad and my dad and my family and my girlfriend. They're all here supporting us. All of our volunteers that come out here to help us, that we couldn't do it without them. And Monster Energy, Toyota, them dudes, they support us, whether this is going on or not. They stuck behind us. Vision Wheel, them guys are awesome. Fox Shocks were landing great out there. Just everyone that helps our program. It takes a lot of people to do this, and we turned around 6 cars in a week and a half, really, between all the side-by-sides and Pro 4s. So there's not much more we can say, but Maxxis Tires, everyone that supports us, let's do it again tomorrow.
We look forward to that. CJ Greaves, he's taking gold. Congratulations to him, Johnny and Jimmy here, your Pro 4 podium.